Stop selling time, start selling value. What if I told you that the single biggest mistake people make with money is trading hours for dollars? Every person who is stuck financially is stuck because they believe their time is the product. It is not. Your time is the container. Value is the product. The wealthiest people on earth do not get paid for showing up. They get paid for the outcome they create. Think about it this way. A doctor charges more than a janitor, not because the doctor works harder, but because the outcome the doctor creates is worth more in the marketplace. So the question you should be asking yourself every single morning is not, how many hours can I work today? The question is, how much value can I create today? Because value has no ceiling. Your time does. You only have 24 hours, and every human being on this planet has the exact same 24 hours. What separates the broke from the wealthy is not effort. It is the type of effort. Stop optimizing for activity. Start optimizing for output. The person who can solve a $10,000 problem in 1 hour will always out-earn the person who works 10 hours solving a $100 problem. This is not about working less. This is about working on things that matter more. Shift your focus from time to transformation, and your income will follow. This one mindset shift alone can change your entire financial trajectory forever. One skill mastered beats 10 skills learned. What if the reason you are not rich yet is because you keep learning instead of mastering? In a world obsessed with learning new things, the real money is made by people who become dangerously good at one thing. Not good, dangerously good. There is a massive difference between someone who knows marketing and someone who is known for marketing. The market does not reward the generalist who knows a little about everything. The market rewards the specialist who knows everything about one thing. Think about surgeons. The more specialized the surgery, the higher the fee. A general surgeon earns well, but the neurosurgeon performing a specific brain procedure earns extraordinary amounts. Why? Because fewer people can do what they do. Scarcity of skill creates enormous value. Most people spend their entire life collecting certificates, completing courses, jumping between skills, and wondering why their bank account never grows. The answer is terrifying. Because you are too broad to be valuable. You need to pick one skill, go deeper than anyone around you, and become so good at it that people have no choice but to pay you premium prices. This does not mean you stop growing. It means you grow vertically instead of horizontally. Stack knowledge on top of your core skill, rather than spreading yourself thin across 10 different directions. The market pays extraordinary money for extraordinary skill. Ordinary skill gets ordinary results. Master one thing and watch your worth multiply. The offer is everything. Make it impossible to refuse. What if your product is not the problem, your offer is? This is the single most overlooked concept in business and personal finance. Most people have great products, great services, great ideas, but they are broke because their offer is weak. An offer is not a price. An offer is the complete package of value you present to someone in exchange for money. A weak offer makes people think. A strong offer makes people act. The difference between a $100 sale and a $10,000 sale is rarely the product itself. It is how the offer is constructed. Great offers eliminate risk, reduce effort, increase speed, and stack so much value that saying no feels like the stupid decision. Here is a formula that changes everything. Your offer should make the customer feel like they are stealing from you, not that they got a deal, that they robbed you. When your offer is that compelling, price resistance disappears. Objections dissolve. Conversion rates explode. Most people walk around with mediocre offers wondering why nobody is buying. They think they need more followers, more ads, more exposure. No. You need a better offer. Spend 80% of your energy crafting your offer before you spend a single dollar on marketing. Because marketing a bad offer just means more people say no faster. A great offer sells itself. Build something so irresistible that the only question your customer asks is, where do I sign? Volume cures almost everything. What if the reason you have not succeeded yet is simply because you have not done enough? This is the hardest truth in business, and it is the one most people refuse to accept because it removes every excuse. We live in a world that loves strategy. Everyone wants the perfect plan, the perfect timing, the perfect approach. But here is what the data actually shows. The people who win are not the most strategic. They are the most prolific. They do more. They reach out more. They create more. They fail more. And because they fail more, they learn faster, adapt faster, and ultimately win faster. Think about this. If you send 10 sales emails and get no response, the problem could be anything. But if you send 10,000 emails and get no response, you now have undeniable data to fix your approach. Volume is not just activity. Volume is feedback. Volume is clarity. Volume is the fastest path to skill development because every repetition teaches you something the last one did not. Most people try something 3 times, get rejected, and call it a failed strategy. But what if the strategy was fine and you just needed 300 attempts, not 3? The uncomfortable reality is this. Your breakthrough is hiding behind a number you have not reached yet. It could be the 50th call, the 100th video, the 200th attempt. You do not know the number. So the only logical move is to keep going until you get there. Volume is not desperation. Volume is discipline. Reinvest before you reward yourself. What if every time you rewarded yourself early, you were stealing from your future self? This is the financial behavior that separates people who build real wealth from people who just earn good money. Because earning money and building wealth are two completely different things. People who earn money spend it. People who build wealth reinvest it. There is a window in every business and every career where reinvestment compounds dramatically. The people who understand this delay personal gratification and instead pour their earnings back into things that generate more earnings. They buy back their time by hiring people. They invest in tools that multiply output. They acquire knowledge that opens higher-level opportunities. But the average person gets their first taste of success, buys a nice car, takes an expensive vacation, upgrades their lifestyle, and then wonders why they are not growing, because you spent your rocket fuel before leaving the atmosphere. Wealth is not about what you earn in a month. It is about what you keep, multiply, and reinvest over years. The person making $200,000 a year who reinvests aggressively will outwealth the person making $500,000 who spends everything. This is mathematical, not motivational. The earlier you start reinvesting, the more violent the compounding becomes over time. Every dollar you reinvest today is buying you freedom tomorrow. Stop spending your seeds and then wondering why you have no harvest. Plant everything until the farm is big enough to feed you forever. Your network determines your net worth. Upgrade ruthlessly. What if the 5 people you spend the most time with are the actual ceiling on your income? This is not a motivational quote. This is a documented psychological and economic reality. Human beings are deeply social creatures. We unconsciously adopt the beliefs, behaviors, standards, and ambitions of the people closest to us. If everyone around you thinks $80,000 a year is great money, your brain will be wired to think the same. But if everyone around you is building million-dollar businesses, your brain starts treating that as normal, and you rise to meet the standard. The environments you place yourself in are not neutral. They are either pulling you up or pushing you down. There is no standing still. The problem is most people feel guilty about outgrowing their circle. They stay in conversations that do not challenge them, in rooms that do not inspire them, and around people who have not updated their thinking in years. And they call it loyalty. Real loyalty to yourself means getting in rooms where people are operating at the level you want to reach. It means seeking mentors who have already solved problems you have not faced yet. It means paying for access to knowledge and community that accelerates your growth. The fastest shortcut to wealth is not a secret strategy. It is proximity to people who are already wealthy. They think differently, they move differently, and if you stay close long enough, you will too. Upgrade your circle or accept your current ceiling. What if everything you were taught about money was wrong? What if I told you that everything you have been taught about money, everything your parents believed, everything your school taught you, everything society programmed into your brain since you were a child, was not just incomplete, but was specifically designed to keep you exactly where you are right now? What if the reason 99% of people never build real wealth is not because they lack intelligence, not because they lack opportunity, and not because they lack hard work, but because they are playing an entirely different game than the 1% who are winning? What if the difference between you today and the version of you with complete financial freedom is not years of sacrifice, not a lucky break, not the right connections handed to you at birth, but a handful of specific, learnable, actionable shifts in how you think, what you build, and how you operate every single day? Sit with that for a second. Because what I'm about to share with you is not motivation. Motivation fades by Tuesday. What I'm going to give you today is a framework. A cold, uncomfortable, brutally honest framework that the top 1% of wealth builders use while everyone else is still debating which productivity app to download. These are not theories. These are patterns. Patterns observed across thousands of businesses, across hundreds of industries, across every economic condition you can imagine. And the terrifying thing is, they work every single time. Not because the universe rewards good people, but because when you understand how value and money actually flow in this world, and you align your actions with that understanding, the results become almost inevitable. So let us start at the very beginning. Stop selling your time. I know that sounds simple. I know you have heard some version of it before, but I need you to actually feel the weight of what I am saying right now. Every single day that you wake up and trade hours for dollars, you are participating in a system that is mathematically designed to limit you, because your time has a hard cap, 24 hours. You cannot create more of it. You cannot clone it. You cannot sell the same hour twice. So if your income is directly connected to the number of hours you show up, your income is capped. Period. Full stop. No exceptions. But here is what changes everything. Value has no ceiling. Value is not about presence. Value is about outcome. The market does not care how long it took you to solve the problem. The market cares whether the problem got solved. A consultant who fixes a company's broken sales system in 2 hours and generates $500,000 in new revenue did not earn 2 hours of wages. They earned a percentage of the transformation they created. And that number looks very different from an hourly rate. This is the shift from time to transformation, from presence to outcome, from I showed up to I delivered a result that changed something significant. The moment you start measuring your value by the size of the problem you solve rather than the number of hours you spend solving it, everything changes. Your rates change. Your clients change. Your confidence changes. Your bank account changes because now you are playing the right game and most people around you are still playing the wrong one. Now, once you have made that mental shift, the next thing that separates real wealth builders from everyone else is the depth of their skill, not the breadth. The depth. We live in a culture that is obsessed with learning. Courses, certificates, programs, workshops, summits, masterclasses. There is an entire economy built on the promise that learning one more thing will finally be the thing that changes your life. And I am not against learning. Learning is important. But here is the brutal truth that nobody in the self-help space wants to say out loud. Most people use learning as a sophisticated form of procrastination. They are always preparing to begin, never actually beginning. The people who build disproportionate wealth do not know more things than everyone else. They know one thing at a depth that most people never reach. They pick a skill, sales, copywriting, engineering, investing, leadership, operations, and they go so deep that they become genuinely rare. And scarcity of real skill commands extraordinary prices, always, in every market, in every economy. Without exception. So here is the question you need to answer honestly. What is the one thing you are willing to be obsessed with? Not interested in, not curious about, obsessed with. Because mastery is not achieved through interest. It is achieved through obsession. It is achieved by going back to the same problem 10,000 times while everyone else has already moved on to something new and shiny. Pick your thing, go deeper than anyone around you, become so good that people talk about you before they even meet you. That level of skill is not a gift, it is a decision, and it is available to every single person watching this right now. Here's where it gets really interesting and really uncomfortable for most people. Even if you have the right mindset about time, and even if you develop a world-class skill, you will still be broke if your offer is weak. And almost everyone's offer is weak, not because their product is bad, not because their service does not work, but because nobody taught them the difference between a feature and an offer. An offer is not, I do marketing for businesses. That is a description. An offer is, I will help your business generate an additional $50,000 in revenue within 90 days, or you pay nothing. Do you feel the difference? One makes people think. One makes people act. And in business, in life, the gap between thinking and acting is where all the money disappears. A great offer does 4 things. It reduces risk for the buyer. It increases the speed of the result. It decreases the effort required from the customer. And it stacks so much perceived value that saying no feels genuinely stupid. When your offer does all 4 of those things simultaneously, price resistance disappears. The conversation changes from, that's expensive, to, how soon can we start? Most people discount their price when they cannot close a sale. That is the wrong move. When you cannot close a sale, the answer is almost never a lower price. The answer is a stronger offer, because a lower price just makes you cheaper. A stronger offer makes you irresistible. Work on your offer more than anything else in your business. Before you run ads, before you build a funnel, before you hire a team, get your offer so dialed in that when you describe it to someone, they lean forward instead of stepping back. Now, I need to tell you something that is going to challenge every story you have ever told yourself about why things are not working yet. Volume cures almost everything. I know that is uncomfortable. I know you want it to be about strategy. I know you want me to give you the one secret framework, the one funnel, the one approach that changes everything without requiring you to do more. But here is the raw, honest, data-backed reality. Most people are not failing because of bad strategy. They are failing because they stopped too early. They tried the thing 10 times, got rejected, told themselves it does not work, moved on to the next thing, and then they repeated that exact same cycle for years, trying things, stopping too soon, blaming the strategy, and wondering why nothing ever changes. But if you sent 10,000 emails instead of 100, you would have real data. If you made 500 sales calls instead of 20, you would have developed real skill. If you posted 300 videos instead of 15, you would have found your voice and your audience. The breakthrough was always there. It was just hiding behind a number you never reached. This is not about grinding yourself into the ground. This is about understanding that feedback is the most valuable currency in business, and volume is the fastest way to generate feedback. Every repetition teaches you something the last one did not. Every rejection shows you something about your offer, your positioning, your approach. The person who has been rejected 1,000 times knows more about selling than the person who has been rejected 10 times. And that knowledge compounds into skill, and that skill compounds into income. Do not stop before your breakthrough. You do not know how close you are. Here's the 5th shift, and this one is going to sting a little. Every time you reward yourself before you have earned the right to reward yourself, you are literally stealing from your future. And I say that with absolute conviction because the math is clear. Money that is reinvested compounds. Money that is spent disappears. And the window between your first success and your first real wealth is exactly the window where most people make their fatal financial mistake. They get their first taste of money, the business starts working, the income starts flowing. And instead of pouring everything back in, instead of buying their time back by building a team, instead of investing in systems and tools and people that multiply their output, they upgrade their lifestyle. New car, nice apartment, expensive dinners, luxury vacations. And they do all of this before the machine is actually built. And then the income slows, because income always has seasons, and suddenly they have all these new fixed costs and no reserves and no reinvestment and no compounding, and they are starting over again. The people who build real, lasting generational wealth do something different. They treat themselves like a business. They run lean. They reinvest aggressively. They delay personal gratification, not because they are punishing themselves, but because they understand the mathematics of compounding. Every dollar you put back into the machine today is worth dramatically more than the same dollar spent on comfort today. This is not a lifestyle choice. This is a wealth strategy. Plant everything until the farm is big enough to feed you forever, then eat. Not before. And finally, this last one is perhaps the most powerful and the most overlooked. The 5 people you spend the most time with are not just influencing your mood. They are influencing your income. They are influencing your ambition. They are influencing what you believe is normal, what you believe is possible, and what you believe you deserve. And if those 5 people are comfortable, settling, and satisfied with mediocre, then your brain is being trained every single day to accept mediocre as the standard. This is not about being cruel to people who love you. This is about understanding the invisible force of environment on human behavior. Human beings rise or fall to meet the standard of the room they are in. Place yourself in a room where your current results would be considered underperforming, and you will perform at a higher level. Place yourself in a room where your current results are impressive, and you will stop growing. The fastest wealth accelerator available to any human being right now is proximity to people who are operating at a level above your current ceiling. Not just reading their books, not just watching their videos, actually being in their world, paying for masterminds, attending events, reaching out, offering value first, getting in the room however you can get in the room. Because when you are surrounded by people building significant things, you start to internalize a new normal. You start to think their thoughts. You start to adopt their standards. You start to move at their speed. And before long, you are not the person who used to dream about that level. You are the person operating at that level, wondering what the next level looks like. Your network is your ceiling or your launch pad. Choose deliberately. So here's what we have covered today, and I want you to feel the weight of this as a complete picture, not as separate ideas. Stop trading time for money and start creating transformational value. Go deeper into one skill until the market has no choice but to pay you premium prices. Build an offer so strong that saying no to it feels genuinely irrational. Embrace volume as the fastest path to feedback, skill, and ultimately success. Reinvest aggressively before you reward yourself so that the compounding can do its extraordinary work. And ruthlessly upgrade the environment and the people you spend your time with, because your surroundings are silently setting your ceiling every single day. These are not 6 random ideas. These are 6 gears in a single machine. When all 6 are turning together, wealth does not just come faster, it becomes almost unavoidable. The machine works. The only variable is whether you are willing to operate it. Most people will watch this, nod their heads, feel inspired for a few hours, and then go back to the exact same patterns they have always had. And a year from now, they will be watching another video, wondering why nothing has changed. But some of you, a small percentage, are going to take one idea from today and apply it with enough volume, enough consistency, and enough intensity that it breaks something open in your life. I am talking to that person right now. You do not need everything to be perfect before you begin. You do not need more information. You do not need the right timing. You need to make a decision today, a real decision, not a feeling, not a wish, a committed, locked in, no going back decision about who you are going to be and what you are going to build. The wealth you want is not waiting for conditions to be right. It is waiting for you to be ready. And ready does not mean comfortable. Ready means committed.